There's no homeless here, there's no violent crime, there's no trash, and I've heard that before, but now I'm seeing it. This is amazing. There's no reason our country can't be this clean and safe.
An American young man decided to come to China in person to verify whether China is really like what Western media report. When he arrived in Chengdu, China, the time had already reached 5:18 p.m. His plane landed around 2 p.m., and getting from the airport into the city took much longer than he had imagined. At this moment, he was so hungry that he no longer cared what he ate, with only one thought left in his mind, which was to quickly find a place to eat.
It's been a long trip from the airport. I think I'm gonna eat the first thing I see.
Inside the subway station, aromas filled the air, with shops lined up one after another. A noodle shop sign immediately caught his attention. It looked simple and straightforward, and the food was steaming hot. He took out his phone, opened a translation app, and ordered a bowl of beef noodles. When the price appeared, he almost could not believe it.
Was 20 yuan. So let me see how much that is in US dollars. I was gonna say yes to any price right now, I'm so hungry. $3? 21 Chinese yuan is 3 US dollars.
A few minutes later, the noodles were ready. The beef chunks were generous in portion, the broth looked clear yet rich, and the noodles appeared springy and elastic. After a long flight, waking up early, and barely getting any rest along the way, being able to eat a bowl of hot food that was also this cheap felt unbelievably wonderful to him at that moment.
$3 for these noodles right here. I'm exhausted, but 10 out of 10 level.
The beef chunks were plentiful, the broth was clear yet flavorful, and the noodles looked chewy and elastic. After the first bite, he froze on the spot. The taste was unexpectedly familiar, reminding him of the flavors from his childhood home.
Amazing. Amazing. This is this is gonna sound crazy. This actually reminds me almost of homemade beef spaghetti noodles growing up.
The beef was also juicy and tender, almost falling apart as soon as it entered his mouth. As he ate, he kept sighing in amazement. This had already become the best food he could think of at the moment, and he even seriously considered coming back to this station in the future just for this bowl of noodles.
It's juicy, it's tender. Man, I couldn't have picked a better meal. I might come back to the same spot, come into the train station just to eat.
After finishing the noodles, he simply picked up the bowl and drank the soup directly, not even caring whether there was a spoon. This way of eating looked completely natural here and instead made the flavor feel more direct. His first meal in China ended just like that. Simple, cheap, sincere, and unbelievably delicious. It made him feel that this trip had started off in an almost perfect way.
I'm so happy. This is so good. These noodles actually, they honestly remind me of the noodles that my mom would cook, spaghetti, at home.
The moment he walked out of the underground passage of the station, his view suddenly opened up. This was the main square of Tianfu Square in Chengdu. Tall buildings were illuminated by lights in the night, and the entire area was surrounded by glass curtain walls, giving off a strong sense of modernity.
Oh my goodness. Wow, look at these buildings over here. Look how nice all of these buildings are. Wow.
After stepping onto the surface, there were sculptures, trees, and large areas of green lawns in the square. Everything was neatly trimmed, and the environment was so clean that it was almost impossible to find any flaws.
There's no homeless here, there's no violent crime, there's no trash, and I've heard that before, but now I'm seeing it. This is amazing. There's no reason our country can't be this clean and safe.
That sense of order made him subconsciously compare it with other countries. Japan and South Korea were already clean and safe enough, but the feeling here seemed to surpass even those. Standing in the square, he suddenly realized something.
I know for a fact I could leave my laptop, my phone, my camera, I could leave it right here, and no one is going to touch it.
According to the map, it would take about 15 minutes to walk to the hotel. He originally planned to take a taxi to see more of Chengdu at night, but trouble quickly appeared. He had not set up a ride-hailing app in advance, had no cash, and the ATM failed to work. As for whether taxis accepted Alipay, he was honestly not sure either.
And I don't have cash though, so I wonder, do taxis take Alipay? Ooh, I didn't even think about that. I don't have cash. ATM didn't work.
What made it even more awkward was that the roads around the square were not places where you could simply flag down a taxi. Guardrails and lane restrictions left him unsure where to even find one. After weighing his options, he decided to walk for a while and see how things went.
Yeah, I don't know where to get a taxi. This doesn't look like a place. You see, you can't cross this line right here. So I don't know where to get a taxi. And I don't think I can pay the man.
As he kept walking, he still decided to try his luck and see if he could catch a taxi. After a while, a car stopped, but the real challenge only began after he got in. The navigation route kept changing. The roads were one way, left turns were not allowed, and the driver had to take long detours.
I could walk there. It's like a 10-minute walk now. I should have just walked at this point. I don't think he knows where we're going. I don't know why I got in this taxi. You can't even turn left here. This is a one-way.
The driver's navigation was completely different from the route on his phone. Information kept recalculating, and the direction became more and more off. What should have been a short trip turned into a combined test of communication and navigation. The map instructions kept changing. One moment it said to go straight, and the next moment it replanned the route. He gradually realized that he could have easily walked to the hotel, and that taking a taxi had actually made everything more complicated.
We keep getting farther. Now it's saying 11-minute drive. Okay.
这里就是金灯路。
It keeps rerouting. The reason why it says you can go straight right now is because it keeps rerouting. But we had 2 different options to turn right back there and get there.
In the end, he could only choose to get off at a place that looked like the destination. Another small hiccup occurred during payment. The QR code system was different from what he was familiar with, the codes did not match up properly, and the process was not very smooth.
How much? I don't know what that means. He's just gonna type in however much. 10? That's it? Just 10? That's it?
慢点，慢点。
Okay.
After getting out of the car, the blogger could not help but sigh. This taxi ride had almost become the most chaotic and out-of-control miscommunication he had ever experienced in his travels. Throughout the journey, the information simply did not line up. He could not understand, nor could he express himself clearly, and could only passively go along with it. When the car stopped, even he himself could not say exactly where he had been dropped off. The building in front of him looked like a Holiday Inn, but the more he looked at it, the more wrong it seemed. It did not match the one he had booked at all.
That's the worst miscommunication I've ever had in my life, I think. He brought me to a Holiday Inn Express, but I don't think this is the same one. I don't think this is it.
With no other choice, he could only go inside and try his luck. As he walked into the hotel lobby, the front desk handed him a welcome drink. Such a simple detail instantly helped him relax.
Oh, this is the right one.
Yes.
Sure.
It's a welcome drink.
Oh, nice. Sure.
After confirming the floor, he dragged his luggage up to the second floor, with only one thought left in his mind, that he could finally rest. The moment he opened the door, the blogger froze on the spot. The space in front of him was far larger than he had expected. It no longer felt like a normal guest room, but more like a family suite. The blogger said that he always booked the cheapest room and never cared about room type, but this time he had been upgraded.
Whoa, this is a big room. I made it. I have the family room. I think this was all they had left. I don't remember, but I would have booked the cheapest room. And this is it. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with all this bed space.
After calming down, the blogger began to reflect on the taxi experience and realized that the problem was not the driver, but the map. Google Maps is unreliable in China, which caused all the detours. Thinking back on his misunderstanding at the time, he felt somewhat guilty and reminded himself to learn from the experience. He needed to download local ride-hailing apps in advance, set up payment methods, and switch to maps that actually worked in China.
That taxi driver, by the way, he was completely right. He was in the right. I just found out Google Maps is wrong all the time in China. I honestly feel bad about that interaction. I probably came across as rude. That was not my intention. It's been a very long day, and I thought he was driving the complete wrong direction.
Just as he was about to go to sleep, the phone in the room suddenly rang. A few seconds later, a water delivery robot appeared at his door. Through a touchscreen and voice prompts, he guided it to open the door, deliver the items, and close the door again. The entire process was smooth and natural.
You just called me? This robot just called me. Open. Oh, look. It had a touchscreen. It said open. Oh, it's speaking to me.
The robot could even call the elevator by itself and enter and exit automatically, leaving him standing there in disbelief. After the robot left, he finally sat down and let out a long sigh of relief. The 24 hours of non-stop travel only truly came to an end at this moment. Although his body was already completely exhausted, his heart felt unusually satisfied. The first day in China was a bit chaotic and a bit tiring, but it was also full of surprises, and the blogger's China series had only just begun.
Looking back on this day, what this American young man truly experienced was completely different from the China that Western media had described for a long time. There was none of the chaos he had been repeatedly warned about, nor were there the negative images that were constantly emphasized. Instead, what he saw were clean streets, stable order, and a sense of safety that still existed even when walking alone at night. None of this was a carefully arranged show, but the daily life of an ordinary city, at an ordinary time, with ordinary people. A $3 bowl of hot noodles, a clean subway station, and a driver willing to communicate patiently. These details were far more convincing than any slogan. More importantly, these experiences were not gained by believing someone, but by personally walking in, seeing with his own eyes, and feeling it himself. When reality creates a huge contrast with the information one has long accepted, people naturally begin to think, how much have we really been told? And how much have we ignored? This day was a bit chaotic and imperfect, but it was real enough. And it was precisely this sense of reality that made him realize for the first time that many perceptions about China may need to be re-examined.